Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to carry on with Citizen Sleeper 2. As we saw at the end of the last episode, we're in a slightly sticky jam at the moment, in that we've been betrayed by Marco. Not entirely surprising, to be fair. I wasn't entirely trusting of him. But we are out of supplies as a result. We are sort of hiding out in this abandoned unit on Darkside, and we need to steal supplies, but to do so we need the engaged skill, which me and Junie, who I chose to accompany me on this mission, are both bad at. So when I put my 4 into here, it's going to be a 2. We have to flip a coin to see if we... I don't even know if we can rest without supplies. I mean, what? Maybe we should just... we could end the cycle. I mean, the thing that worries me... There are two things that worry me. The first thing that worries me is... we might not roll any higher than a 4, in which case we still can't do anything. But also, 3 of our dice are on 1 HP here, and if we roll a 1 on anything, those dice are going to break. So, and I don't know what's going to happen with the supplies. Maybe we'll... per cycle, plus stress, plus crew stress. That's not good, because that means anything... a 2 would break our dice. We are in a jam here, no mistake. We're going to have to roll these and hope we do one on the coin flips. That's no. Can't go any lower than a 1, so we might as well roll her 2. Damn, 2 negative coin flips. Try on me as well. Okay, at least we got a neutral outcome on that. I'm going to try another one. I kind of figured that would be the case. We're going to break dice, I think. 1 or 2 on these dice is going to break. Oh, this is going to be tricky to get out of this. Yeah, we lost a dice. Another dice is down to 1 health. But you wake in the cold of the abandoned unit to an unsettling quiet. The air cyclers whine, the heat diffusers hum, but nothing around you breathes. You are alone. You slowly raise yourself, unclip the straps from the bunk, and allow yourself to drift up into the air. Silence. And then in that silence you hear something. A scrape or scuff. It draws your eyes to the unit's doorway, where a shape is settled in the dark. Ankita. So, Ankita, as I mentioned in the last one, so she's working with the gang that controls Darkside, that Lane also works for. She's Lane's number 2, effectively, we found out. She's also a returning character from the first game. She was a mercenary we encountered on the Eye, the station from the first game, and helped her repair a ship, and in our playthrough at least we helped her fulfill the contract she was there to do, to kill someone. So yeah, that's who she is. I knew you couldn't have gone far. And Keita shifts to fill the doorway. Now engage to Russia. These are all engage checks, which we are terrible at. I wonder if it picks the ones... It'd be interesting if it always picked the one skill you were worst at, or if I've just got the worst luck in who I selected to come out with this mission, and also my character build. So we're going to stay still. Just calm yourself. And Keita holds up both hands. Let's not cause too much damage. She raises an eyebrow. May I come in? She drifts through the doorway. We don't need any extra attention right now. So Ankita in the first game, she was businesslike, but once we'd completed her mission, she was very regretful. She kind of went away, and I think she kind of had a bit of soul searching, and she was quite a relatable character. So I was surprised to see her working with the gang. It seems like all may not be as it seems, though. You can't give me to Lane. Look, just shut up and listen. And Keita drops her voice. I'm risking everything by coming up here, she hisses. So don't make this any harder than it is. What you need to know is this. I am on your side. I want Darkside free, just like you. And I hate Lane just as much as you do. Oh, okay. And Keita sighs. I just have different methods, that's all. She raises an eyebrow. You might say better methods, given how well your visit has gone. Why should I trust you? I'm the only person who can get you off Darkside, so you'd better listen closely. And Keita hisses. It has taken me more cycles than you would believe to get this deep into Atsubo, and I'm not about to give it up for one escapee. But then Lane doesn't usually run all across the belt chasing a lone escapee, even a sleeper. And Keita drifts a little closer, overshadowing you. So you need to tell me now, what does Lane want with you? Why are you so important to him? I mean, we don't know. I don't know, don't remember, or what's it to you? I mean, I'm going to go with don't know. Ankita sighs. I'm not playing games here. What you don't understand, Sleeper, is that I've been trying to keep you safe since I saw you arrive, but your friend hasn't made it easy. Getting himself caught by Utsubo was bad enough, but then blabbing about you being here? She sighs. I can only protect you from so much. Where's Marco? I don't run the gang. He's Oren's. I can't risk starting an internal war. Either way, you're lucky you aren't in the same position, and you have me to thank for that. So I'll ask again. Ankita meets your eye. Why is Lane pursuing you? Explain that your frame is changing. Ankita looks away in thought as you explain. She waits for you to finish. None of it makes any sense, but there's no way I'm letting Lane get his prize. Not until we understand more. She gives you a hard look. I can get you out, but I need a couple of cycles, and I need you to do something for me. You need to take this with you off station. She produces a thumbnail drive and holds it up. This is everything I've managed to scrape from within Utsubo. The key to challenging Lane is on here, I know it. Take it to Oliveira. It's tucked away in a crater in the shoals, that massive debris field beyond the hollow. She meets your eye. You give it to Carmen, no one else. Ankita presses the drive into your palm and closes your hand around it. No one but Carmen. You understand? Lane's rise has been cruel. He has spilt too much blood. When I'm ready, I'll make him pay for that, but Carmen needs to analyze what I've got on him, to find the right place and moment to strike. Ankita meets your eye. I knew a Sleeper once, and I should have trusted them. She lets go of your hand. So now, I'm trusting you. I'll get you out, and you deliver. That's the deal. Ankita cracks her knuckles. Then, together, we can... Ankita shifts sideways, grabbing the side of her head. A few small plastic keys drift through the air. Run, Sleeper! Junie wields her deck like a club, her face pale and panicked. A shrill whine draws you both and Junie's attention to both you and Junie's attention to Ankita. She's holding a boxy pistol at her waist, its side blinking with a pale indicator light. She's pointing it at Junie. Don't do that again. Ankita reaches up and touches her temple. You're lucky I don't snap that thing in two, she winces. Especially when I came to save you, clowns. Junie looks at you questioningly, trembling and unsure. Ankita's on our side. Oh. She looks at Ankita. I'm sorry? She glances between the two of you. I don't understand. I have to go, Sleeper. She glances between the two of you. You explain this whole thing to your friend if you want, but I won't be here when you do. 2 cycles. Be ready to leave. She backs out of the unit. When Lane comes back, you go out. Neither of us wants him to win here. And a piece of advice. Forget Marco. Keep your head down and wait for me. She raises a finger. You need supplies? Steal them in Flicker Row. Otherwise, keep to yourself. Ankita gives you a hard look and slips out of the unit. Okay, new location. We'll check out what that is. So we've got the Rise. Flicker Row is where we're going to steal supplies. The Rise is finding Marco. The last place you saw Marco. To find him, this is the place to look. But after his betrayal, you may not want to try. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we need supplies, so I'm going to put my 6s in, I think. At least we've got a chance of not being a negative result. Yeah. Take a little food. Okay, let's do this as well. A positive result would hopefully fill that meter. Cross our fingers for that. Neutral. Alright, I'm going to put Junie's 5 in as well. Wonder what happens if she gets a negative. But she got positive, so good. We've got 2 supplies, thank goodness. So on here, no energy loss, which also means we won't be taking stress. But we have 2 cycles to wait, so at least we've staved off starvation in the meantime. Now here, I don't dare push because we're not guaranteed a positive result. But we'll try and start the search for Marco. Damn, neutral. Damn, we're gonna break so many dice. There's nothing I can do about it. She got a positive, which is good, because I don't even know what would happen when her stress meter actually fills. We're at the point where, even when we leave here, we're going to have some stress. Is there anything else to do here? I don't think there is. I'm not going to use my one, but there's a chance we're only going to have one working die at the end of this. So let's see what happens, I guess. Still got 4 working die, but we're down to 1 health on all of them. You wake in the bare unit, cloaked in the endless shadow of Darkside. Outside the window, the lights of the city glitter, but you do not see them. Your attention is instead on the tugging thread in your mind. Lane, drawing ever closer. You shiver. 1 more cycle and then you're out. Okay, so we need to... I say need. We're going to use some dice to try and get Marco out of here then. I'm going to put Junie's 4 in as well. I'm out, this isn't worth it, so she's gone. She's gone. Hopefully she comes back. Let's see what happens. Though you have no specific memory of it, there is something unpleasantly familiar about the place you have found yourself in. Among the many, many stack units of the Rise, framed by scaffolding and stretching away from Darkside's reflectors in a way that is only possible in 0G, you have found yourself in a cold corner. Here, a locked door is marked with Utsubo's sigil, a single eel curled back in on itself, its mouth around its own tail. This is the kind of door behind which Utsubo keeps its secrets, its assets. Assets like you and Seraphine were. Like Marco is now. Okay, we can do an engineer then. It's a door you've been watching, which is why you know there should be an enforcer lazily lent beside it, and why you know you only have moments before they come back. Okay, let's break the lock. Positive outcome, we actually lost a stress, that's good. You slip a shipbreaker's chisel from your belt pack and jam it into the lock, glancing over your shoulder as you try to force the mechanism. With a deft hand, you angle the chisel against the mechanism and, with a swift strike on the handle, the bolt pops off inside the lock. You slide the door open silently. You're in. A dim corridor stretches out ahead of you, lined with doors on either side. The memory hits you almost immediately. Long cycles between jobs in a cell like this, awaiting Lane's arrival. Kept safe. A lie that you believed when you were first brought to a place like this. Most of the cells are dark, empty, but a warm glow spills from around one of the doors. You quickly approach and look in. Marco is tucked into an inset berth, a padded niche like those in any unit. His back is turned to the small window in the door. You slam the exterior lock release without thinking, Marco turning over to face the door as it hisses open. Sleeper? He freezes for a moment, unsure of your intentions. He raises a hand as if to protect himself, to put something between you and him. You're lucky I'm here. Marco nods. Sleeper, aye. He pushes himself up from the berth. He goes to speak and then stops himself. Let's just get out of here. You back out into the passageway and Marco follows slowly, tentatively. Time to leave. Uh-oh, Daichi. Lucky me. Daichi floats in the corridor, a knife glinting in his hand. I came to squeeze a little more information from Oren's prize here. He points the long knife at Marco, but it looks like I just got everything I need. Crap. He closes the gap, raising the knife. Now, stay still. I prefer to deliver you to Lane in one piece. We're gonna attack Daichi, but we haven't got any plus modifiers in this. Negative outcome. The knife cuts deep as you turn, and Daichi guides it up into your ribs. You grab his hand with both of yours and hold the blade in place. His grin catches the light as sharp as the blade. Marco slams into you and Daichi, and you feel the knife withdraw and shift. Marco strikes again and again at Daichi's head, forcing him back. As he hits him, globes of red fill the air. His arm bright with gashes, Marco slams Daichi's head into the metal wall with a crunching impact that makes you wince. The knife drifts from his hand. Moments later, the two of you are streaking for the passage outside, leaving a slick red trail in your wake. Ooh. Okay. What do we got still to do here? Nothing. So really, we haven't really got anything to do except wait. So I guess we'll go back to the unit. We've got full stress now, did you see that? I think we're going to have all dice broken. There's no way we can't... Yeah, all dice are broken. Wow. Wow, okay. I'm wondering if that was scripted to happen, because that's gonna be tough. It started as a creeping dullness, something that drew you further from the world, cycle by cycle. But now, in this moment of waking, it is a shifting pain. It jumps across your body faster than you can follow, and you jerk against it. As you do, a numbness starts to spread across your skin as if you were sinking into cold water. The pain dances across this numbness as if it was skimming on its surface. Then, as you submerge, it becomes distant, and you realize you are leaving this body, your frame. Suddenly, something pulses inside you, some system you've never felt before. As it does, you feel yourself external to your frame, remaining on the surface. You don't feel your limbs or your organs, you barely have your thoughts. You are a pulsing point, a compressed self flickering out. You see figures, unrecognizable shadows gathering around you. You feel the tug of a single thread binding you to your frame, keeping you from floating away. And at the end of that thread, something pulses and glows and rebuilds itself in a new and more unstable form. The frame will recover, but it will be changed this cycle. It will bear the weight of keeping you alive. It will break some part of itself, of yourself, so you may persist. You watch as it does and anticipate waking into this newly distorted self. And then you are awake, somehow together, somehow apart, in pain and a little more broken than before, not knowing if your survival is a miracle or a burden. Marco groans as he rises from the berth. You manage to bind his wounds from Daiichi, but they clearly still ache, and he looks pale and weak in the unit's harsh light. You haven't really spoken. The two of you kept busy by your own injuries and the constant fear that Daiichi will find you. So far, he hasn't, and if Ankita is to be trusted, this is your final cycle on Darkside. You wait in silence, no one eager to speak. A deep fatigue has set in, and in this moment, all anyone can do is wait for this excursion to be over. She's here. Marco nods at the doorway, where a silhouetted figure waits. Ankita looks at Marco, and then at you, a raised eyebrow the only acknowledgement that you went against her advice. Lane is back on Darkside. We have to go now. Ankita looks tired, angry. We won't have another chance. Come with me, quickly, quietly. She turns and pushes out into the corridor. Junie turns to you and nods. You first, Sleeper? Ankita leads you across Darkside, not stopping to look back. The lights and passages flash by, but you barely notice them. All eyes are fixed ahead on the way out. At some distant part of the station, Ankita stops at a docking bridge, a small freighter visible through the viewing windows. She slaps the door release and it slides open. She grabs your shoulder, looking into your eyes. Lane's focus will be on Darkside now. He needs to stop the infighting, to shore up Utsubo. If you get out now, he won't follow. Remember, Ankita hisses the instructions to you. Get that drive to Oliveira. Give it to Carmen. No one else, no matter what they say. We'll be back. Ankita simply nods, and then she is gone, disappearing into the endless, winding passages of Darkside. You drift gingerly down the docking tunnel, which leads into the cold and sparse cargo bay of the ship. Once you're inside, there is a hiss and the door scissors shut. For a moment you panic, seeing no exit, no other doors, just a metal-walled bay. Is this a trap? But the engines rumble to life and you give in to your exhaustion. If Ankita has tricked you, at least you're leaving this place behind. And then you feel it, cold fingers reaching into your mind. You are so close. Lane's voice in your ear. You are here. A rustling, a shifting. I can't quite place you. Can't quite put my finger on you, Sleeper, but I know you are there. What were you doing here? Hoping to confront me, perhaps, or something else? A hiss. I'm right here, you coward. Come and find me. I'll admit I'm not quite ready for you, Sleeper. A flicker and a spasm. But so soon this will all be over. The tone begins, shrill and inescapable. Let me show you. The tone rises. Lane is in the bay of the freighter, the pull of constant acceleration, a comforting pressure against his chest. Lane looks around the bay, taking it in slowly. He inhales the stale air deeply. Lane feels power, feels pride. A sense of control over another excites him. This is his desire. Lane lifts his right hand and turns it in the air, flexing his fingers in a satisfying wave. Something flickers at the corner of your vision for a moment and you strain to turn Lane's head. It does not turn, but you swear you see a figure there in the bay with you. It opens its mouth as if to speak, as if to scream, and then it is gone. A smile grows on Lane's face, a spreading tightness that has its own impulse. He raises one hand and uses it to grip the smallest finger of the other. A pause and then a sudden jerk. Lane snaps the finger back against the joint. His pain is instant, as is yours. It burns your vision away. When the white-hot blindness has faded, you look out on those same metal walls. You hold the same finger in your hand, and as you release it, you see the crooked shape it has been bent into. A shiver runs through you, and you reach back into your own mind to see if any trace, any fragment of Lane remains there. You put your hands on your face and push, as if to push him from your head. The ship continues out on its starward arc, away from Darkside, away from Lane, but you can't help but feel that some part of him is still there behind your eyes, concealed beneath the pain of that snapped finger. Okay, so we've got a tutorial here because of the broken dice thing. You've gained a permanent glitch. A permanent glitch is represented in red on your glitch clock and will not be expended when rolling a glitch dice. You now have a chance of rolling a glitch dice every cycle. This cannot be fixed. Damn, that sucks. I think that's because all our dice broke. So that's not good. It takes a long time before you're ready to discuss everything. First, there was the journey to the yard, then disembarking from the freighter, then explaining to the waiting crew why their ship was impounded, something Marco offered 1,000 apologies for. Thankfully, the crew of the ship that brought you out of Darkside, sent by Ankita, took the others aside and settled them. Through the promise of remuneration or the threat of violence, you aren't sure, but you expect they will leave together for Darkside soon. You do your best to explain your encounter with Ankita to your crew, but the mention of her name sets off a significant reaction in Bliss. It seems the two have history, a relationship that fell apart. I'm trying to remember if in the first game, because Bliss and Ankita both left, I'm trying to remember if they left together. Because certainly in this game, Bliss has mentioned that they came to I forget exactly where they said they went to, or maybe it'd been Darkside even. But then, yeah, they kind of broke up. Bliss removes themselves from the conversations, and later on you find them in the berth, staring at the wall. The whole time you find yourself in a daze. Your skin hurts and your muscles tremble. You don't feel yourself. You rest for a while, and as you do, conversations echo around you, until you find yourself able to rise. Sleeper, Marco comes to you in the quiet of the rig. Can we speak for a moment? Go ahead. Marco nods. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks down. I know I cost you almost everything, but you have to understand something. When they caught me, I was looking for someone important to me. That was why I wanted to come with you. I just wanted to get a message to him and to know that he was all right. He screws up his face, each word bringing him pain. And I admit I thought I might be able to bargain on his behalf to get us both out. Bargain using my life? Marco can't bring himself to confirm it, but you both know it to be true. All I can say is I'm sorry. Look, you can use the yard when you get back to the scatter yards. There are some components in there. Take what you want. Marco sniffs. Yeah, I'm going to stay here a while. He does not meet your eye. He simply turns away and drifts down the corridor. As he does, Seraphine passes him by, receiving no acknowledgement. Oh, Seraphine's healed up. Seraphine gives you a questioning look as Marco leaves. What happened there, Sleeper? He floats there, stretching his scarred arm, the protective sleeve he's been wearing since the fast spindle finally removed. Yeah, let's tell him about his friend, yeah. Marco betrayed us. Seraphine shakes his head. What do you mean? He told Utsubo where to find me. Nay, Seraphine frowns. That cannot be. He pauses. It's not that I don't believe you, but Marco hates Utsubo. Seraphine sighs. He's come through for me so many times, I never thought. Yeah, I'll talk to him. Seraphine nods, a grim look on his face. I'll get the full story. Seraphine looks down. I'm sorry I wasn't there, Sleeper. I should never have let you go. Should never have let Marco go instead of me. I knew this would happen. I did know this would happen. Seraphine looks away. I'm sorry I didn't listen then, but this was our chance. He looks up. Tell me it was worth it, Sleeper. That you got something on Otsubo. You explain about the meeting you witnessed, the conflict between Orin and Daiichi and Ankita's intervention. Explaining Ankita takes a little more effort, but you try to remember everything that happened. You explain Ankita's insistence that she was working against Darkside and how she got you off the station. You explain that Utsubo itself is coming apart with Lane absent, and that this will draw his focus away from the two of you. Seraphine waits until you have finished to respond. Aye, so the Sankita got herself inside Utsubo. He raises an eyebrow. Just to try to break their grip on Darkseid? He whistles. Take some balls. You explain the drive, mention Oliveira, Carmen, and then hold up the thumbnail drive, the one Ankita entrusted to you. Oliveira? He screws up his face. I've heard of it. Maybe once or twice. I just assumed it was some backwater colony. He sighs. Never met a Carmen, though. What's on that thing? Seraphine nods at the thumbnail drive. Ankita didn't say. Didn't get it. Seraphine raises an eyebrow. We just deliver this little mystery drive and that's all. He looks away, deep in thought. Is that what you want to do next? Oliveira, you've never even heard of it, but it seems like the place to go if you want to help Ankita fight back against Lane. You look at the drive, and as you do, you can't help but feel you're being used, and not for the first time. One thing I will say, Seraphine begins, clearly thinking out loud. If we want to head back to Darkseid, take on Lane, we're going to need to do so on our ship this time. Some crews get spoofed transponders, send out a signal matching another ship. He shrugs. Not going to get one fitted here, but that's something we need to look out for. Sure, you think. Go back to Darkseid, where Lane waits. A shudder of fear runs through you, thinking of the moment he slipped into your mind on the freighter. If you ever go back there, you'll know you'll need something to counteract him. But you also recall Overseer's presence in that moment too, his strange form holding its shape as Lane tried to override your control. Perhaps Overseer is a way for you to resist his signal. Your mind whirls with possibilities and problems. Is this really the right move to go back to the place that almost killed you twice? To take Lane on? Seraphine looks at you expectantly. Yeah, what are you thinking, Sleeper? We need to prepare. I couldn't agree more. Seraphine shakes his head. Next time will be different. We'll be ready. We'll come up fighting and Lane will not have a chance we'll not have a clue what's hit him. We need work, we need a crew. Seraphine starts counting off his fingers. We need to take that thing to Oliveira, and we need you to be strong, Sleeper. Speaking of, Seraphine takes out a box of components. I kept myself busy these past cycles, working in the fabricated bays in the sky yard. I figured you could use some spares. But first, Seraphine takes a calming breath. We rest. How many glitched dice am I? They're probably going to all be glitched when we come back. Yeah. The rig. You're in the... Okay, so yeah, he's given us some upgrade parts. We're going to have to fix a couple of dice. I don't really know what's going on with this one. Yeah, we've got this permanent glitch thing as well, which sucks. Anyway, you're in the cockpit with Seraphine when you hear it. It sounds like a muffled crash, an impact reverberating from the back of the ship. There is a wetness to it, a spattering cascade that sounds like nothing else you've heard. The sound makes you rush to the corridor, and that's where you see it, a cloud of food packets and pieces spilling out into the corridor, looped around by the expanding, stringy shapes of liquid rations leaking from their pouches. What the? Seraphine's at your shoulder. The supply store! He pushes past and rushes through the corridor, batting away debris as he does. You follow behind, ducking under twisting arms of amber liquid on their way to spatter lazily on the interior walls of the passage. You find Seraphine in the doorway to the supply store, surveying the chaos. The crates have been smashed into each other with serious force and are spilling into the air, where the food whirls in some unseen current. How could the creature have done this? Look! Seraphine nods at a bent back vent panel under one of the crates, which is pumping out air with incredible force. That's the main life support feed from the air recycler. He goes over to it and inspects the panel. It's been clawed open. He points to the evenly spaced marks on the outside. There were some screws missing. He taps the empty holes. Can I have taken much to leave it open? Then you hear it. A shrill mewl from behind you in the corridor. It's the kitty! Framed by the doorway, a cat drifts through the air, batting at a food pouch. The stray barely acknowledges you as it moves past, angling its body to catch the droplets of liquid that are released from the packet. What the hell is that? Seraphine's hissed question comes from behind you. It's our stowaway. Aye, but what is it? Seraphine looks at you confused. You both lean out of the doorway to see where the stray went. Hey there, girl. Bliss floats in the corridor, beckoning. They hold up their hands so the cat can see them. Not here to take those rations away, all right? You both watch as the stray twists balletically through the air, flexing as it floats and using its claws to catch one of the corridor's reinforcing ribs. Then it swings itself to the wall where it perches and watches Bliss with big eyes. The comfort of its movement in 0G is striking, and you realise you've never seen an animal navigated microgravity before. That's a cat! Seraphine is watching quietly now, too, fascinated by the creature. I thought they'd be bigger. You've never seen a cat before? Where would I have seen a cat? Seraphine looks at you. Come to think of it, where have you seen a cat? The question makes you pause. Where have you seen a cat? Not in the belt, not in 0G. You close your eyes and bring to mind the faint image of a cat stretching in the sun, somewhere warm, somewhere with weight, with gravity. You touch the fur of its back and it reacts, sliding against your hand. Careful! Seraphine's hissed warning brings you back. Bliss is reaching out to the stray. Shh, you'll scare her. Bliss makes a tutting sound. We had cats back on the eye, but they were in spin gravity there. The stray's big eyes watch Bliss's hand as it approaches. When they touch the top of her head, the stray doesn't move, doesn't react. Oh, look at her leg. Bliss nods to the sleeve on the cat. She's been hurt before and taken care of. She's really scared. You see the cat is gently trembling with Bliss's touch, but slowly she settles and angles her head for Bliss to scratch her ear. The movement brings back the mysterious memory. What is its origin? Focusing on it makes your skin tremble, a shiver running up your arms. It's ruined all our supplies. Seraphine is looking back into the supply store now. None of this is usable. She tore open the vent and ruined it all. You can't blame her for that. Bliss is floating beside the stray now, gently petting her. We let her get desperate and she couldn't have known the vent would do that. Yeah, we were trying to feed her, but unfortunately it wouldn't let us do it while we were out on contract, so... yeah. But hopefully no damage done, apart from to our supply store, but we got loads of cash. Hey, that may be true, but we can't take a risk of it happening again. What if we'd been on a contract? Seraphine gives Bliss a reproachful look. We can't keep it. Bliss shakes her head. She's a stray. She needs a home, right, Sleeper? Bliss looks at you. We're keeping her. Bliss smiles widely, unable to contain their excitement. Oh, you won't regret it. They look at Seraphine. Plus, the rig is already full of strays as it is. Aye, I guess it is. Seraphine concedes. You have to feed her though, Sleeper. She's your responsibility. He eyes the stray. I never thought a cat could eat so much. Seraphine's right. Looks like you'll need to keep feeding the stray every few cycles if you wanted to stick around. This is going to be expensive. You'll get used to her. Seraphine reaches out sheepishly towards the stray. As he does, the cat bats playfully at his hand and he pulls it away. If you say so. He sighs. I'm not really used to animals. You watch as Bliss tries to get Seraphine to pet the stray properly, guiding his hand to its ears for a scratch and explaining how to approach her. As you do, the memory of that other cat runs through your mind. It feels like a raw wound, one that, if you touch it, will only bring pain. You can't help but pick at it, knowing that it might contain some distant part of you. Okay, we actually have 6 upgrade points now, which is the good news. The bad news is we're in pretty rough shape. Now, in Marco's yard... Yeah, he did say he had stuff for us here. It might be worth looking into that. I think the first thing I'm going to do is fix our dice. We'll just use the rare components, I think. And we want the other one, don't we? So... Alright, well the good news is all our dice are at full health, at least. That's the good news. I think we'll still scavenge for supplies. We're not going to rest right now. There's probably stuff we can do. Now that you're familiar with the stray, you can feed her directly, but she's still a little nervous around you and the crew. So I think what we'll have to do is get in a cycle of kind of feeding the stray just but as we're heading out on a contract, so that hopefully she doesn't get hungry while we're out. Okay, we don't want to spray paint the thing. So supplies, I think we fill up because, as I said, we've got a decent amount of cash there. So full fuel, full supplies. Oh no, we were just there. Should probably eat some food. Slowly coming back to ourselves. So with the fabricator bay. Engine component. We don't need the engine components right now. Are we on any kind of clock? Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, let's search this yard then. And Oh, okay, so yeah, so when this is used up, we'll have found everything there is to find. We got an engine component, okay. I think I'll just rest. We're not in any particular rush right now. Source supplies. Actually, it's probably better to get the fuel, seeing as... tell you what, let's feed the cat now. You put supplies into the special feeder bliss setup. The stray waits until you're outside the room to come eat. Okay. So let's actually source the supplies, because we know they're worth a fair bit of cash. The darkness flows around you and you know what comes next. Sleeper. The multi-part image of Overseer assembles itself in front of you. We must intervene in your current course. Intervene in what? The opening of your systems has breached a new paradigm. You are dangerously exposed. The voice is somehow both soundless and shrill. As we are sharing your hardware, that means we too are fatally exposed. The individual agents you encountered, we were almost completely erased by their attempts to seize control. Overseer's three heads nod eagerly in agreement. It's Lane. We have knowledge of this name from your memory banks. There is much of interest to us recorded there, though often partially and inconsistently. Overseer whirs unsettlingly, but yes, we can confirm Lane's role in this vulnerability. It is our understanding that the assumption of inevitability is incorrect. Overseer glows with bright veins of data, but in this state we cannot operate with full functionality. If we were to be recompiled in our current configuration, we believe we would be able to calculate a new path. Our aim would be to close the vulnerabilities and reinforce your systems against future intrusion. This would ensure our safety within your system. 3 sets of eyes lock onto you. Would this also please you? You can stop it? Correct. Overseer stutters like a glitched animation. Our expertise was in total system maintenance and security, beyond our administration and navigation capabilities. We were built to do this. At least, this is what we understand. Without being recompiled, we are aware of these capabilities, but cannot access them. We are confident to a substantial degree that we will know how to complete the process once recompiled. The 3 heads nod, one to the other. Then recompile. The heads revolve thoughtfully for a moment. Without our originating codebase, we cannot recompile. Overseer flickers. If you were able to speak with a Solheim systems engineer, perhaps lead engineer Jakob Kandinsky, perhaps we could acquire it. The heads stare at you expectantly like 3 partially deconstructed puppies. Solheim's gone, like 11,000 years ago by the sound of it. Yes. The heads nod repeatedly. Of course. The heads continue nodding. We were, of course, aware of this. You look at the fragmented program itself, its systems unstable and broken. You realize it is far worse off than you and its collapse is almost inevitable. How could it possibly save you? It is a difficulty. Overseer flicks between poses, but all codebases are held in centralized Solheim facilities. They are Station A1, the CAN Channel Operations Center, and the Control Trent Center of the HABPEP, or Helion Asteroid Belt Photovoltaic Extraction Project. Overseer smiles helpfully. HABPEP? Is that dark side? Overseer immediately latches onto the thought. Based on your memory banks, we believe so. Correct. It occurs to you that this entire conversation is happening within your head. It's an unsettling feeling. Darkside is a city now. This is true, but its foundation is the HABPEP itself. Overseer chirps brightly. We understand that the individual seeking to overwrite you is stationed in the HABPEP itself. Overseer's 3 heads separate and turn inward as if in conference. The shattered heads turn simultaneously, unsettling in the directness with which they address you. But if you could access the HABPEP mainframe without making yourself known, we could reconstruct ourselves and gain the ability to reconstruct you. Theoretically, one of the heads adds. Theoretically, the other 2 heads confirm. Would that protect me from Lane? Theoretically, the heads confirm again. The reassurances of a delusional Solheim protocol are barely reassuring. But if Overseer is correct, this may be your only option. We feel your doubt, but we must impress upon you the importance of this, please. Overseer's eyes flash, all 6 of them, if not for your sake, for ours. If you cannot find your way to the HABPEP before encountering this Lane, You will surely be overwritten, and we would also share your fate. The heads rotate. We would not like this to happen. We have an incentive to offer. Suddenly an unsettling fizzing begins at the core of your body, spreading out through your limbs. We found multiple misaligned sequences in your altered codebase. We have done our best to correct them. Like a switch flipping, you feel renewed, your pathways clear. Your process is smooth. A permanent glitch dissolves from your system. Seriously, did they do that? It's still there. The three mindlessly smiling heads of Overseer, however, are less reassuring. We will leave you to recharge, but please, consider the path ahead. Did it do it? Well, let's see when this goes away. You come back to the ragged paneling of the bunks. Somewhere behind your left eye, the ache begins. You envy Overseer for its lack of a body and the pain it causes. But then, suddenly, you wonder if in sharing your body it shares your pain too. The thought makes you pity the broken protocol, its sense of time and place shattered. Perhaps you share more than you'd like to admit. The path ahead begins to take shape. It seems a return to Darkside is inevitable, but you will need help to make that return. They healed our permanent glitch. That's cool. Junie's still on the list, even though we stressed her out on the last time, so that's good too. We're full up on supplies, so we'll probably want to just make sure we do that next time. Okay, things are looking up. We've got some glitches. I'm not quite sure what's going on with these dice, but we'll see. So let's try and get this clock going. Let's take what we can get from his yard. Another engine component. Sure, let's keep going on that. Okay, so we got 4 engine components. That was kind of his not reward to us, but kind of gift out of his guilt, I suppose. Don't need that. Don't need that. We don't need that. I think we head off. Actually, let's do our upgrade first. So I think I'm going to get Endure to the same level as my other skills, because then everything except an engage skill we're good at then. I've got another 2. I'm wondering if I... Yeah, or do I save up for another one of these? Let's have a look at my drives. What have I got at the moment? So we've got Contact Carmen, that's major. Find the fraction ship, go to the Hollow, that's major. Nemba is a minor one. So that would give us 1 point, wouldn't it, when we do that? A major to help Cadet crack the drive. Get back to Darkside. Well, we were just there, weren't we? And a minor one sketches across the belt. I think we just maybe we just travel for a bit. We'll do these sketches. We'll go to the green belt. Help Nemba. Yeah, I think I like the idea of that. So let's have a look at the map then. So that's Oliveira. That's the Hollow. Remind me what's in the Hollow. The fraction ship. Yeah. So we can't go through the red zone. So maybe I want to go to Greenbelt. We'll do Greenbelt before we sort of head back up this way, I think. Let's do the Hollow. We don't necessarily have to help Eugen at this moment, but we might choose to. Yeah. Then we'll do Greenbelt, then back through everywhere else. I think that makes sense. Oh god, look at those glitches. Sleeper. Eugen takes you aside. I'm gonna head into the Radius Markets to find my contact, the one with the data on the Aphelion. You should come with me. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. I'll be there when I can. Okay, but remember what I said. Trails run cold, quickly. Eugen grins and heads for the airlock. You watch him go, unsure what his swagger might hide. But you've gone this far with him. maybe it's time to see where it all leads. Alrighty. So we've got our ship. We've got markets, hollow core, hollow view, local inspiration. Yeah, let's check that out. So this is for the sketchbook, isn't it? Sketch a design. It's safe. So I'm wondering if like what even a negative result would do on a safe one. It just failed. Well, I think we're going to use our glitch. If there's literally no consequences to a negative thing, then just use them here. Hey! I love that Overseer fixed our permanent glitch. I wonder if that was scripted to happen, or... Because it wasn't necessarily a given that we would wreck our dice on that contract. I think we just, you know, if we'd rolled 6s, I don't think those dice would have broken. The hollow is a glowing bauble, cracked open and bridged. Its reflective panels are what make it distinct. The more you look, the more complexity the whole hollow shows. An intriguing structure. Yeah. Well, I think we rest again. Do we feed the kitty cat? Yeah, why not? Why not? And let's source supplies while we rest. Got another glitch, but we've got some high rolls there. Supplies is full, that's good. What's here? Hollow Heart. The Hollow, with its brash scrap dealers, is intimidating to newcomers, but spend a little time here and you'll find your place. So this is kind of the explore thing. We've got an interface that we could do quite nicely, so I think we'll do that. These two are still scored through. I'm not sure what that signifies. I mean, it looks like it definitely signifies something. Does it just signify that they've broken and been repaired? I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure this one was broke. They were all broken, weren't they, basically? Especially this one. So I don't know. I'm going to go and check what's at the... Oh, okay, what we got? We have Bella's jetty. Buy a meal, buy supplies, that's fine. And then we've got debris dealers. So we could fill fuel. Yeah, why not? Do that now. Buy scrap, sell process. Oh, we can sell process scrap here. So we've got this to sell. So what do we get for that once we do that? Plus 30. That's pretty good. All right, let's do both of those. Nice. Come out there. So the radius markets. We're just trying to find the guy. It doesn't look like we'll time out on this, so let's just leave that for now. Let's finish up in the hollow core. Okay, a couple of new locations, I think, or is it just the one? Oh no, there's a couple. So we got signal ship, where we can work, it looks like, to do signals, sell Solheim data. How much do I get for just one of those? 8. Okay, I mean, it's not massively lucrative, but in a pinch it might be alright. I'll hang on to the data for now, though. We've got engineering stuff. The signalling station in the pole is paying a small fee to anyone who helps seal up the damage sustained in a recent explosion. You've heard that a drifting Conway munition might have been responsible for the damage. Okay, well, we'll help fix that, but I don't necessarily want to stick my glitch dice in there, I don't think. I think we rest another cycle then. Are we on the... We're not on the lane timer anymore, are we? Source supplies, we don't need that, so why don't we grab some cryo? Okay, that's... should be our last glitch die, at least for now. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'll have to look it up somewhere. Not sure where. But let's go help out this thing. Oh, negative. Now we're starving. right back. Those are the same odds as the 4, so might as well. I don't know what happens. Yeah, if we probably want to eat before we potentially take a negative damage, so... Okay. Taking a risk. Negative. Yeah. I mean, we haven't done too badly with the glitch die, but it didn't pay off there. I guess we go rest again. Cryo, yeah, I think that's probably the best use of our rest time, really. Okay. I think we should be able to finish up here then. There we go. Okay, we don't know who's talking. What do you mean fried, Kimball? Our station depends on that array. The voice echoes out of one of the sunward pole's cramped bays, tucked up in the ceiling of the hollow. Though you're tired from a shift spent sealing leaks in this shattered section of the station, you can't help but listen in. I have been patient, Kimball, but now with the repairs almost done, you're telling me we can't broadcast anyway? The voice comes from a doorway nearby, and as you float past, you glance inside. You see a woman facing away, addressing the back of a man half buried in the guts of some complex machine. I'm sorry, Kimball, she concludes, but that just feels malicious. So we've got Kimball, pirate radio technician. The man, presumably Kimball, mumbles something in response, though you don't catch it through the wires and mechanisms that surround him. The woman quickly turns and spots you peering in through the doorway. This is Cyrene. Okay. She gives you a curious look. Oh! She quickly smiles. Hello. She closes the distance. I'm Serene. She offers a hand. I've seen you working on the repairs. She tilts her head. We appreciate your efforts. Happy to help. Cyrene looks over her shoulder at Kimball and then back to you. How do you feel? She pauses, calculating. About the war in the inner system. It's worrying for the belt. I agree, which is why the belt needs to stay informed about it. Did you know that Senetstat has already started shipbuilding at Cinza? Cyrene watches you for your response. Cinza? One of the 3 sisters in orbit around Ember. She raises an eyebrow. You haven't left the belt, have you? You hear a grunt from Kimball, his head still buried in the machine's innards, and it's unclear if it is in reference to what was said or if it's just the sound of repairs going poorly. We? Cyrene places a hand on her chest. Are the Helion Dispatches the only pirate radio station in the Starward Belt? She lifts her chin proudly. We keep the system up to date on shifts in the system's power structures and the ongoing corporate war, all through the voices of the Helion system's own residents. Kimball grunts again and a shower of sparks bursts from the machine behind Serene. Or at least we did before our transmitter got fried. Cyrene looks suddenly crestfallen. What happened? The repair work you've been giving time to? That was all caused by a Conway autonomous munition trained on our scent. Cyrene's eyes flash with anger. A mumble comes from Kimball as he pushes a handful of wiring out of his way. I do know that for sure, Kimball. Why else would it come so deep into the belt to hit the hollow at our broadcast site? Cyrene turns back, hands on hips. Kimball responds with a shrug. Either way, straight after that attack, we found our gear had been tampered with, sabotaged. Kimball grunts. Yes, Kimball, or just looted. Either way, we're now quiet, and when we're quiet, the war continues unobserved. Cyrene folds her arms and looks away, defeated. My crew's looking for work. I'm sure you are, same as any other crew in the belt, but trust me when I say pirate radio does not pay. Cyrene sighs. Look, we need a new broadcast array, a better broadcast array. Cyrene glances over her shoulder. We don't quite have the reach we'd like. Where you get one, that's another problem. We're talking pre-collapse tech here. It's not something we can just build ourselves. Kimball mutters something from the depths of the machine. Yeah, Holmes Rock isn't a bad idea, Cyrene replies. It used to be a relay station for Solheim, so it stands to reason they'd have arrays. And then there's the terminal there. Kimball's been bugging me to dig out some engine components for him to crack open and use in his repairs. God knows what kinds of repairs he'd need for those four, but that's what he says. Cyrene looks over her shoulder at Kimball, but receives no response. You both stare at his broad shoulders for a moment as a thin trail of smoke begins to emerge from the machine. Now maybe we can do a little fundraising here on the Hollow. What we can get, we'll happily hand over. Cyrene shakes her head, but I'm telling you now, it won't be a lot. I'll see what I can do. We'd appreciate it. Hell, the people of the Helion system would appreciate it. She glances over her shoulder. I think Gimbal would appreciate it too. You leave Cyrene and Kimball to their repairs, making note of the engine components and wideband array they'll need to get back on the air. It's hard to tell if the job will be worth your time, but then again, someone as knowledgeable as Cyrene might be a useful asset. New location discovered. That's probably this Helion dispatches. So, install arrays. That's what we need to find. 2 engine components. I mean, we could put those in now. Yeah. Okay. Why not? So the new drive then is. Get the array from Holmes Rock. Okay, well, we'll be there. We'll be there again at some point. Let's have a look at the map. So, I'm probably not going to go to Oliveira yet because I don't think that would include our going around getting painting inspiration. But I want to go to Greenbelt, and then I think we'll go to the Helion Gate, Holmes Rock, Flotsam. Well, we'll probably end up. Where are we now? We're here. Yeah, we can actually go direct from Flotsam. See, I think, so we'll go up there, we'll cycle around there. I can't remember, I think, where is Nemba? Is he on the far spindle? Can't remember, I think so. So we'll go up there, we'll get Nemba, we'll do that, we'll get the inspiration, we'll come back to Scattyards, which is where we paint. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And when we come back next time, we'll also go into the Radius markets and help out Eugen. Or will we at this time? I'm not sure. I don't want it to expire, but at the same time, I'm not desperate to run off and do his side quest just yet. But we'll think about that for next time. But thanks very much for watching this episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you could hit that like button, that'd be amazing. As would any comments as well. Let me know what you think about the game so far, anything that we've seen in this episode. And if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well, that'd be amazing. So thanks very much. And I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.